It's not spring yet. Far from it. Here anyway. I had to go to the lumber store again today, and there was, I passed a pickup truck that had about 3 inches of snow on it. I don't know where that came from. So I'm not too far above ocean level right now. But it is chilly out there. Now it's going to rain for next week. But I got about 99.9% everything I've done that I need to get done before I leave. So I'm starting to really sit back and relax. Finally. I have a tough time relaxing. I don't know why. I can't seem to relax that well too often, even when all my shit's in a line. It's weird. It's not discomfort, but I guess it can be. Once it catches up to you, you get kind of tired. But anyway, sharing people's voices is so easy for me. I love doing it. And I just get frustrated that I can't share all of them at the same time. And as far as the Rumble channel video goes, I get a lot of information sent in to me. I'm in contact with a lot of people who non-stop are creating and sharing content to help people wake the F up. And I was doing that for a while, especially through the convoy times back east in Ottawa. But I also realized as well, you have to counter it with positive, right? If you just stay on that route of fight, 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 which is not a positive, it can potentially get you down. So I like to stay on top of myself. I stay on top of myself all the time. And I make sure I level everything out, and I just don't keep on going on a dark alley that way. So I will mix up what I promote. I try to promote as much as I can to the real world, hunting, fishing, outdoor world, healthy living, and I also try to promote all of the voices of all the people. But I'm at the point, I wonder what all you think. I'm at the point now, I wonder, I'm not certain, but I wonder if the people who aren't absolutely brainwashed today have fallen prey to the mainstream, bought and paid for mainstream media bullshit. I wonder how hard it is to actually get people to come back to trusting their own intuition and thinking for themselves. And if they can't, will they ever again? Do you know what I mean? I think what I'm trying to say, wonder is, I wonder if it just falls on deaf ears and blind eyes, a lot of the effort that a lot of people do every single day to try to bring truth forward. I wonder if the people who are looking for the truth, no, not the people who are looking for the truth, they're fine, they're looking. The people that refuse to accept the truth, not even glancing at on that other side of the line, I wonder if they're just written off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if all that effort is just for naught. I wonder. I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know too many people who are, I don't spend any time with people who are basically blind drones. I mean, what we have in common to talk about, right? So I don't really know for sure what it would take or what recipe it would be to help people realize the honest truth when it comes to numerous topics. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's interesting. It's frustrating. But anyway, it's kind of weird. As soon as I start talking, chicken shows up. It's piss and rain outside. I got the shop door open up so that the echo isn't as bad. And everything's usually hiding from the elements out there, right? The goats are straight across, they're about 40 yards away, and every time they hear my voice, they scream like they're in pain because they're not running around. But if I let them out, they're going to be bouncing around here like a pair of psychos and destroying the shop. Well, I try to get everybody's voices heard smoothly. So, anyway. I don't know which chicken this one is, but it's fairly quiet. Let's hope it keeps his beak shut long enough so it doesn't drive me and you nuts. But let's get on with it. Let's get some voices heard. And again, I haven't reached out to any of the people who I want to hear more from yet. I've just been going absolute hell-bent to get all my stuff done for a couple weeks straight now. I'm tired. I need to relax. And I really need to get these voices heard every single day, or every chance I get. And but I will send out, as soon as I get out of here, I'll have a lot of time for myself. I'll be by myself 99% of the time, and that is when I really get caught up on people I want to get in contact with and have big conversations with. And I have the time to do it, and I'm going to contact the very important, I feel very important people that we have here to share with us what the hell's going on, and they will. Anyway, babbling. I was almost ready to go. I feel like I could sleep right now, and I never ever sleep when the sun's up, but I figured I better get off my ass and get out here and get sharing. So here I am. I'm gonna liven up here shortly. Anyway, maybe got myself a little electric heater right here. I found it a little while ago. I forget why I bought it. I think I have it on the boat or something, but I got it right here with a saddle blanket over top of it so it doesn't drown out the sound too well, and then I won't freeze my ass off sitting here like I normally do and want to quit too soon. And I hate quitting, so here we go. Let's get into this. Let's get more voices heard and expand this group of people that we have coming here and expanding like crazy non-stop. The Unexplained Presence in the Woods of Scotland is the title of this email. Steve, I'm watching your YouTube channel for a while, thinking we don't have the habitat or wild space for anything like that here. But the email from Steve in Sussex reminded me of an unexplained presence in the woods when I was out for a walk maybe 3 years ago. Drumsaldry Wood lies in the Sidlaw Hills north of Dundee in the east of Scotland and is increasingly popular with hill walkers, mountain bikers, and dog walkers alike. It's very quiet in the summer evenings when the sun doesn't sink below the distant mountains until around 10:30. So the car park was empty when I arrived and likely to stay that way. The forest lies across the northwest side of the hill, and one track offers a path to a viewpoint beside 2 wind turbines in a cleared section. As I approached the gate to this clearing, something coughed in the trees to my left. Sounded like it emanated from a large animal, which was strange, as the roe deer in the area are small, and there were no cattle in the nearest fields that could have found their way into the trees. I couldn't see or hear any movement in the thick trees a few yards from the track side, and was just about to set off when it coughed again. We don't have any large predators in Scotland. The last wolf was shot long ago, and the only grizzlies you're likely to encounter are in a pub on a Friday night. So, the most predatory threat is a grumpy buzzard. I stood for a while, wondering if I would hear any movement or see whatever it was, but I didn't want to come out. So off I went. It was on my mind as I headed back down the hill later, passing the same spot. It coughed once more, again on my left. Obviously, it crossed the track. Still unconcerned, but curious, I waited. No more coughs came. But whatever it was decided to run away through the trees. It sounded bipedal. It didn't sound like a human cough, but it could have been a large human, nutter, hiding in the trees, I suppose. A nutter. A nutter is what I think it is referred to as a kook in the UK. Kind of like the UK's leader, right? And ours. As that's what I am too. Perhaps it was wise not to emerge. I've returned many times since and not experienced anything similar. I joked about Angus, the county, Sasquatch to friends before, as I'd seen tree structures in videos, and there was one visible from a different track in this forest. To my surprise, I later discovered there have been a few reports of large hairy creatures in Scotland in recent years, and the domestic great outdoors are much more popular now due to bat flu's international travel restrictions. So maybe someone else will encounter something they can't explain. There you go. It's not a dramatic tale, just unexplained and similar in nature to Steve's story from the woodland in Sussex. Thanks for your dedication to your channel and the conduit it offers, and let's hope common sense is more infectious in 2022. Hamish, Dundee. Yeah, let's frickin' hope, right? Good God. Let's hope. Thanks for that email. I'd imagine anybody, well not anybody, but I imagine other people who have witnessed these things in Scotland are possibly on this channel by now, right? There's far too many people around the globe here daily now. And that being said, I would imagine somebody's going to comment about this in the comment section below, or they're going to feel knee-jerked, compelled to write into me to share with all you what they've witnessed in the same area. And it's not the first time we've heard from Scotland, right? Thanks for sending that in, man. Glowing eyes in the mirror almost 70 years ago. Hi, Steve. It's time to tell my story after more than a year of listening to the people tell their stories every day. I'm like a hunter, remembering their former experiences, looking for clues that are similar to the people's knowledge and experiences. It takes a lot of sixth sense hits, aha reactions, hair standing on end or returning to wire to verify my perception or test a new possibility. I've had at least 2 experiences of the Sabe, one or more when I was very young in the early 50s and one in the 80s when camping with my husband. As the last year progressed, I've been able to make sense of these experiences and overcome some of the fears that develop from imagining what can be stirred up by bringing these thoughts into my mind every day. I worried about having my dreams invaded, my house being pounded on, and our next visit to our favorite hiking place be sabotaged by a negative interaction with these beings. Today, August 28th, 2021, you asked a roundtable participant, what caused you to decide to share today after all these years? I'm curious to know, okay? Because your answer may help others who are watching. 2 coincidences, synchronicities, caused me to write this draft today. Yesterday, we hired an arborist, I'll call Bob, to tend to our trees. Unknown to us, our neighbor called him the same day to schedule a job. Bob hasn't been here for years. As he was getting ready to leave, I asked him about his family. They had just gotten back from a vacation at Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park in California, our favorite place to hike and camp in the Redwoods, where I had my second Sabe experience. Until joining the table, I hadn't told anyone about my Sabe experiences. I then told my husband and a friend. They each asked me some questions, and I left it there for the time being. When I was about 7 years old, I remember being on or in my bed in the bedroom I shared with my younger sister, and looking across the room towards the mirror of our dressing table. It was nighttime, so the amber-colored eyes glowing in the mirror at me were shocking. They were definitely looking at me. The angle between me and the mirror placed the staring eyes at one of the corner, double-hung windows in our 1-story house. There have been so many comments about some Sabe being able to assess the character of a human. Even though I remember only one incident of being watched, I believe there were probably more. My sister is/was not empathetic. Sorry, I'm half awake right now. I feel like I'm half awake. Out of self-preservation, I kept quiet because of her, not our parents. I believe it is also possible that Sabe used mind speak to warn me to keep this experience to myself. When I was young, I endured a lot of stairs. Though I didn't go limp, my legs looked quite different. In the 1950s, girls had to wear skirts or dresses to school so I could feel kids staring at me. I would turn around to look at the person staring at me. If she/he looked honestly curious, I would answer a question with the facts about why I looked like that. If the person had a mocking look or a remark, I would answer the question with, none of your business. So, I've had a well-developed sixth sense along with a good memory and a creative imagination. My family went camping and fishing in the high Sierras from the time my sister and I were babies. It would take 8 to 11 hours to drive there from the mid-peninsula south of San Francisco. There were no freeways in Northern California, so leaving at 4 or 5 o'clock got us through a lot more green traffic lights. I learned to read a map early on, so I didn't have to ask when we would get there. One clue which helped me understand my feelings about being spied upon through a bedroom window happened early this spring. We had a heat wave here in the San Francisco Bay Area. My husband and I live in a 1-story house with double-hung windows in 2 corners of the bedroom. In all houses and apartments I've lived in between childhood and this house, I've lived above the ground floor. It was so hot I opened one of the corner windows for more air, especially since it cools down overnight. It made me nervous. I don't know why, and I haven't opened that window since. A couple of weeks after that heat wave, I connected my childhood experience with that open window. My second experience happened in the 80s while camping in Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park with my husband. He doesn't remember it. We're sleeping in the top of our camper van. When the rooftop is lifted, there is cloth between the roof and the body of the van so that the person is sleeping next to the cloth. I could hear something moving around the van. Leaves rustled. No snorts or calls. It went on for what seemed like hours. I was scared and felt very tense. I didn't want to wake my husband, so I didn't ask him to investigate or go below myself to peek out a window. I finally told myself a story I knew was a lie, that there was an elk outside moving around. It was probably fall when you could hear the Roosevelt elk bugling. Now I know that wouldn't be the case. When we go back to hiking, we'll be better prepared. When we go back to hiking, we will be better prepared. Each of us will have a script to think and to say out loud. Thanks to your advice and David Pilatus' alerts, we'll also have personal locator beacons and other smart stuff in each rucksack. One of my main concerns about the mental abilities of the Sabé is the possibility of my dream life being negatively disrupted. I believe this will be the topic of my next email. I'm so grateful for your daily communications about this topic. It is clear to me that you have a calling. It takes a truly special person to answer the call. Also, it takes a truly special person like Sarah to accept that her partner has this way of life. Here's an echo of so many of us. Thank you for all you do. You can share my name, Barbara Dietrich. Barbara, I appreciate your email. Appreciate the time you just took out to share with us. And believe me, it's easy to read, all right? It's easy to read all the emails from all the people, and but this isn't anything without you and everybody like you, right? This channel's nothing without all the people coming together to be this strong force of frickin' honesty and knowledge, right? Something else. Something else. All right, here comes another one. It's titled My Story. Dear Steve, hello. My experience is as follows. I remember what was put off as deer stomping around. As an 11-year-old, I knew nothing for comparison. I accepted the explanation, and the unique event wasn't thought or spoke of after it was over. During one of our camping trips to the family cabin located at Calistoga, Northern California, the family was gathered at the hammock and garden chairs fire pit area just adjacent to the side of our cabin. Behind the cabin is an abrupt, steep hill, not accessible by humans. It's just too steep and covered in thick, tall brush, grass, stickers, poison oak, large rocks, oak and pine trees. This is the area where the ruckus came from that Saturday in June of 1974. We were sitting and conversing, relaxing in the country air after the breakfast, when all of a sudden the loudest explosion of stomping and huffing noises, accompanied with what sounded like boulders being hurled to the ground with much force, and then rolled over, crashing sounds, cracking of breaking tree limbs, stomping. Startled, I asked my dad, "What is that? What is doing that?" I know everyone else heard what just transpired. The noise sounded like it had to be something huge, with much weight and great strength and anger. Nonchalantly, my dad replied, "Deer," and dismissed my alarm as if he really thought deer were the culprit. The loud ruckus over, and with my back to the previously mentioned hill, swinging in the hammock, something began throwing pebbles my way, and they were hitting me. Something's throwing rocks at me. That, too, was attributed to squirrels dropping the pebbles off one of the branches of the giant oak tree directly above me. The activity stopped as quickly as it started. We went about the day enjoying the Calistoga countryside. Never speak of this odd experience again. One thing though, I always had trouble sleeping when I was there at the cabin. I would wake up at 1 a.m. or so, just wide awake, terrified, scared, feeling like something menacing was watching me. Something would provoke a fear in me, enough to make me wide awake. Something that was outside, and in those wee hours of the silent dark morning, I would try to wish the fear away. I'd pull my blankets tighter around me and close my eyes, praying for safety. Eventually, mercifully, I would fall back to sleep. Upon waking up the next day, I would forget about the terror of the night before, and I would enjoy the countryside and play in the creek that ran through our property. However, again the fear would awaken me, and a repeat of the same scenario the night before would play out. Isn't it interesting that these interactions with Sasquatch would quickly be forgotten, easily dismissed as some other animal other than what it actually is, forgotten by all who experienced this event? Only as an adult, recollecting my time spent at the cabin in Calistoga, do I now know beyond a shadow of a doubt what it was that provided these experiences I had. There were other clues Bigfoot was afoot about the cabin, but for the sake of keeping this anecdote to a readable minimum, I'll refrain from adding more details submitted here. Thank you. This is the first time I've related my experiences to anyone in detail as I have in this email. Maybe my story will jar the memory of a listener of something strange, yet almost lost, once forgotten, concerning an experience buried deep, brought out for recollection to be shared at the round table of knowledge, maybe. Sincerely, Susan Wester. Susan, you may be right. Actually, I know you're right. It will. It always does. Every single person that shares here gives more confidence to other people who are sitting on the fence glued to the screen listening to similar experiences they had, right? And then finally, I think I have a funny feeling that the people that are sitting here on the fence listening, finally just get triggered and burst and they gotta share it too. I said enough's enough. I'm sharing what I've seen and this is what I saw and nobody's gonna change it, right? That's a good thing. It's a shitty burden to pack around for people, right? Especially people scared of people. People being scared of people drives me crazy. Never be as scared of anyone or anything, right? Never. Doesn't mean not have respect, just means don't be scared. Now, what do we got? This is titled, I hope this helps someone. Michigan Experience, October 2020. Hey Steve, my name is Shane Hassel. Feel free to use my name and thank you for what you do. The truth is becoming rarer with each passing day. Sorry in advance for my lack of grammar and misspelled words, even with spell check. Well, no problem, man. Let's get at her. A paragraph would have been handy though. I will say a paragraph would have been handy. So we'll see how it may go. I'm from Florida, and my dad has a cottage in upper central Michigan. I was visiting last October and finally had the car to myself on the last day of our visit. I was going to a local hiking trail. I'm going to enjoy the beautiful forest. I think it was about 4 p.m., a hazy day with light snow flurries. As soon as I was about 100 feet in the forest canopy, I felt like I was being watched, and it was dead silent. I scanned the perimeter and took my time. My vision is 20/10 corrected, and I had played paintball and airsoft in the woods since I was 10, and I was 33 at the time. I have confidence in my ability to spot a human in the woods as long as they are not wearing a ghillie suit. This presence felt like a human presence that wanted to harm me. I felt the feeling of a panther wanting to eat me from about 30 to 40 feet, and this is definitely human in origin, not primal. And 10 times that feeling. I felt it was about 200 to 300 feet away from me. After scanning and not seeing anything, I took out my dad's 9mm that he let me borrow and racked one in the chamber, put it back in my pocket, and continued on the trail walking slowly and burning holes in the trees with my eyes, trying to spot whoever was watching me. LOL. It is difficult to explain, but the further I went along the trail, the stronger this feeling was getting. The feeling of being hunted was getting so strong that I felt like it was a thick fog, or it was like the air was extremely heavy with dread and I could cut through it with a knife, if that makes any sense. I continued into a small valley and thought the feeling would subside and I would be able to see whoever was hunting me. Unfortunately, the feeling got stronger and felt much closer. I couldn't see or hear a single thing. I popped out the gun and took a few more steps. This sounds really crazy, but something in my mind was telling me to run. I just got the feeling that I had to run right now or I was going to die. I got ready to run and then stopped myself and said out loud, "Why the F would I run?" while looking around. I pulled one sleeve lower on my arm to hide the gun in my hand, as I felt this would give me a small advantage. It was then that my fear subsided and I became extremely angry. I finally get to spend as much time as I want in the woods and something or someone is hunting me, I thought. This also sounds crazy, but I don't know why I did it, but I started growling as I was scanning the forest. I think I might have done that a few times. The feelings of whatever wanted to kill me were extremely close and closing in on me at this time. And I still didn't see or hear anything. And it was close. I know that I should have been able to see it. I felt like it was about 30 feet away now. Then, without thinking, I pulled up my iPhone, turned up the volume, and played the Steel Driver's Blue side of the mountain. Instantly, the feelings / projections of whatever wanted to kill me changed from getting ready to kill me to panic / fear, extreme panic / fear, waiting for a surprise attack maybe. It's very difficult to describe. I could feel it, panicking, and I felt great satisfaction. The panic slowly changed to confusion, and the whole atmosphere changed. I was now not going to let this sack of shit deter my hike, and I hiked till my phone battery died, and when it died and the music stopped, my confidence was not as strong. I walked out of there still feeling his presence far away. This was before I knew about your channel, and I thought Sasquatch / Dogman was a stupid fairy tale. About 2 months later, I found your channel while looking for bear hunting videos and listened to a few Sasquatch encounters, and I was shocked and realized I might not be going crazy, LOL. Sometimes I just know things and don't know I know them. There's just this knowledge there in my mind when situations arise, don't know where it comes from, LOL. And it ends up being true as far as I know. I know it sounds really crazy, but it's helped me help a few people. So I think it's a gift from God. I feel like He was watching out for me that day and guided my actions and protected me even though I did not deserve it. I'm not sure if I was being hunted or just messed with by one of these monsters. I hope this can help someone if they find themselves feeling like they need to run. Do not run. Think about things that make you angry. Adrenaline is a resource and you can control it through breathing. Use your instincts and all your resources when and how you feel they would be most effective. Also, not sure if this will help people, but I feel compelled to share this. When terrible things happen in my life that gave me anguish, sorrow, anger, and rage, I try to grieve as little as possible, and I put these experiences in a box I created in my mind, called my anger box. I save these terrible feelings and memories there for a time when I will use them as fuel for adrenaline. And I will hopefully use that adrenaline to help someone in a time of need, hopefully turning a negative experience into a positive one. I think this is an excellent way to honor the memory of one who has passed, who you loved. Maybe this will help someone out there. Maybe, probably. We are currently in the beginnings of sorrows, the beginnings of the book of Revelations in the Bible. These are the last of the good times before things get really bad. Cherish every meal. Smile and every bit of laughter as much as you can these days. I hope all truth seekers find the most important truth, the only one that really truly matters, that Jesus Christ is King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and He has true power and strength beyond our comprehension. Thanks, Steve, and everyone for sharing. All right, thank you for sharing that. And I really appreciate the fact that you offered up one of the tools that you've been using, all right, when it comes to confusing times. That's what it's about. Everybody throw down knowledge, throw down what works, and share it with the people. Let them take from it what they will or leave it, right? No chicken gangsters. Little bastards. She went and put old Mother Hen. Mother Hen just put Sarah 36 eggs in the incubator day before yesterday. Good God. All right, here we go. Here comes another one. Sasquatch encounter. Sarah and her daughter just got home. The goats are making it sound like they're in extreme pain, screaming their guts out. Anyway, they're fine. It's titled Sasquatch Encounter. I see my name is blank, the wife of Paul. Call me Teen when you read this. I will not use my ex-boyfriend's name who was with me when this encounter happened 40 years ago. First off, I want to say after seeing your channel on YouTube, you helped me understand what I've been seeing all these years and the different kind of ones there are, from Prescott, Wisconsin to Canada. I've seen the black ones that look like bears walking on 2 feet, and you always say, I saw a bear. There was a Sasquatch crossing the highway for years, and also walking by me at state parks. They look like they have a hoodie on, but it's the black-haired ones. One time, my boyfriend and I were horseback riding down to the river, coming back upon a steep ravine. The horses were going straight up with us, and a black Sasquatch walked right up beside us, faster than the horses could go up the ravine. And then we looked for it at the top of the hill, but could not find it anywhere. And there are other encounters, but the ones in Ontario for my camping birthday 40 years ago was an eye-opener. It was a wonderful and beautiful time, and many of the details and the encounter were not to be remembered to be told until now, to the summer in 1980. It was so beautiful up there. The air was so clean, and having the time of my life. Just driving around an F-150 jacked up truck with big mutters on the truck, we could go anywhere. Well, we were told to keep going north to Boy Scout camp, but seeing logging truck after logging truck, we were getting tired, so the boyfriend turned left on an old pothole road, logging road. About a mile in, the trees as we were getting off the main drive. I see on one side in the trees a big foot tall shaped object. Okay, there's a spell out there. A big football shaped object made of sticks. And on the other side, an X-shaped object. I thought we were coming to a cabin at my family's place. We were looking at all the moose tracks and then looked ahead, and there were the giant Sasquatch. One was as tall as the trees, and the other 3 feet taller than the other, but skinny, and the face is very hairy like a sheepdog. The other big boy had on a pair of bib overalls, and I could see they looked size 52s. They were the biggest pair of bibs they could make, and they were like shorts on the being. He was very hairy. A light brown color hair, 4 inches long, and a roundish head. He looked like a native with brown skin. I looked away and said, "Where are the others?" and looked back. I thought there were people rejected by a circus, hobos camping, and I felt sorry for them. Until I heard in my head, intruders. My boyfriend started to turn the truck around and slipped into 4-wheel drive and said, "Don't kill it." And we started to sink in the sand. My back opened up with fear, but I felt we had to get away from them. The one Sasquatch looked like the Incredible Hulk and made the truck feel as small as a Matchbox toy truck. He was so big. The boyfriend floored it, and boy did the sand fly. We're going so fast that I was in more fear of dying in the truck. So I turned and looked and told him to slow down. They were not following us. And at 79 miles per hour, we came to the tarred road. We turned north and went as far as I could go, and I had to stop to relieve myself, and the boyfriend guarded me and said, "Tell no one." And I remembered saying, "Remember what?" and didn't until I found your show and the drawing of one of the beings that a viewer sent in from the Netherlands. They gave me the recall, and I started telling my husband about it non-stop. We camped at the Boy Scout camp, and the smell was horrible, and even plugging your nose didn't help until you get away or it leaves. The Air Force was hitting Mach 1 about 5 times a day, and the Sasquatch kept throwing little rocks at us. The rocks never hit me, but my boyfriend kept throwing them back at it. But we camped and had a little boat that we went out on the water with, and it was beautiful. The quartz rock under the water and the seagulls and loons following us behind the boat on the water and sunshine was very special. The last time, sleeping overnight, falling asleep, I heard a sniffing sound by my head. I was very tired. I woke up to my boyfriend putting the food in the truck because of the bear prints and seeing a baby bear off the point, and the rock throwing again, and my boyfriend threw rocks back extremely hard. The last time, the being let out a growl, and a big handful of rocks hit the truck. It made us load the boat up really fast and leave the campsite. As we left, the smell was there again. We were on our way south, passing the other spot at 100 miles per hour, and still the Sasquatch was able to hit the truck with something to let us know to leave. All the way home we felt, or should I say, my boyfriend saw something, but I could not. And he guarded me all the way down any place we stopped along Lake Superior. Back in Wisconsin, Minnesota at the time, we were finally home. Thank you, Steve. Sorry, you guys, I'm getting a little rough on this one. Thank you, Steve. I sure love you and all that you are doing to help the people out. Sincerely, your friend, Teen. All right, Teen, thanks for that. I hope I didn't butcher too much. The screaming of those damn goats keeps jerking my head this way, and there's a couple typos in there, but it wasn't too bad. But the clothing part, the detail of the clothing, the coveralls, I think that's the first. Sounds slightly familiar. I'm pretty sure we've definitely heard of people saying they've seen clothing on these beings in the past. But the damn. Minor interruption there. Sorry, Teen. I don't remember what I was saying. The girls got back. Oh my God, listen to that goat. Just heard my voice and scream like it's getting attacked by a cougar. Anyway, now I gotta get going. There is a huge, delicious moose roast in the slow cooker that is about to get gobbled up. But I got time for some more voices yet. All right, what do we got? This is titled Follow Up. Saw my first one today. This is titled December 14th, 2020. Sorry it took this long. At least we got it. We're getting it up. Hey Steve, Jeff here again from the heart of the Great Lakes. I am, and so is my original story, much closer to one of the major metropolitan areas of western lower Michigan. If you live/hunt anywhere near a creek, swamp, railroad tracks, and or a power line, then you should have in the back of your mind that you're not the biggest, strongest thing on two legs in the woods. I wanted to try to fill you in on what's happened since the summer's dip in the pool. I'm not nearly as angry as I was initially about it all. Still not exactly happy either. I still only mention this to my wife. I'm hoping that others will have their own experience and that it can become something that I can eventually talk to others about. Kind of a weak take, but it's what I'm going with for now. I know how hard to believe this topic is if you have had your own sightings. Okay, I think I remember this. I may be wrong, but I think you're the gentleman who emailed in. You saw it from your hot tub or your pool at the back edge of the forest, and you were going to set up and try to blow its head off. I think. Maybe wrong. As for this deer season, and yes, I know you disapprove, I skipped it entirely. It sucks. I'm not sure about next year either. I didn't even buy my license this year. But if you don't understand hunting in Michigan, I want you/others to know that there are not many places in Michigan you can go if you all of a sudden lose your spot. It's all private property. That kills me. It kills me when I hear that and see it. I've seen it firsthand, the amount of land bought up so that guys with a shit pile of money can hunt, and I don't have a clue what the regular folk do out there, right? What does that fella do that doesn't make that much money, wants to take his kid hunting in many of the areas of the United States? I really feel for them. Anyway, sorry, different topic. Heading to state land here is ridiculous. It's not a safe thing to do, in my opinion. We call those places pumpkin patches. Orange spots all over the place. Okay, what he means, for all you not familiar, is people have to wear orange when they're hunting. So he means there's people with orange on running around all over their shop. Went to some state land in the UP once, found a guy who was in green camo head to toe. Such a bad idea in Michigan. I decided not to hunt this year, in part to keep my son who hunts to be safe and not have to explain it to him. How the hell do you tell a kid the boogeyman is real? I've been out to the spot where I saw the being this summer several times since, but never alone. I can't stop staring hard in the dark places. I did see it one more time. Or maybe it was that it showed itself to me one more time. It was again hiding in the creek, squatting I guess, but not in the same spot as last time. It feels so hard to explain. Adults were doing yard work about 11 a.m. or so on Saturday morning, so I'm assuming it was just watching. After it saw me, and I'm assuming it recognized me, it stood up the instant I turned my head away from the woods/creek. Little did I realize that I was watching as best I could peripherally. I saw it stand in a flash and was square to me, and then somehow my vision was obscured. I could tell it turned to its right, but in my mind all I could see was my mental image. It was all over. It was so quick. I did not try going into the woods that day. I've noticed that nearly every one of the trails in the woods has had at least one log fall. Yes, I'm sure the trees are being pushed over onto the trails on purpose by this thing, across the trail. We've had numerous large bonfires to dispose of all these trees lately. I have it nearly all opened back up now. As for me, I'm still learning by all the facts you and the others keep providing. Thanks for that. I don't care about this story being out there. Reading my story aloud isn't necessary for my mental health. If anything, I hope others realize these things hide and watch you, and only move when they know you're not looking. Seeing one, if that's what you're trying to do, isn't something that just happens. Your movements and noises are the attractant. It's like they are a voyeuristic type of sicko creep, or at least that's my biggest realization so far. Last, I'm shocked to realize how many other encounters I likely have had. One of these walked on the roof of our house in the middle of the night when I was a kid, but we had no way of realizing what it was until hearing some of your stories. My sister first heard it on the roof, then saw it walking down our driveway that night decades ago. She told the entire family the next morning that a very tall man, super tall as the ceiling, was walking on the roof, and she saw him walking down our driveway after he got off the roof. He was black head to toe. Also, I was camping at Sleeping Bear Dunes Plate River Campground, and at about 2 a.m. something was pushing against the canvas of our pop-up camper. It pushed against my toes as I slept because my toes were resting on the canvas. The thing that gets to me is that it pushed back just enough to flatten the canvas. Woke me up. I pulled my foot back and listened to absolutely nothing. My toes from outside would have been about 5.5 feet off the ground. Wasn't a deer, wasn't a black bear. Some other campers, some say? Don't think so. I never really knew what to make of that. I always somehow thought it was a bear. Good luck hunting and stay safe, Jeff. Okay, Jeff, thanks, man. You stay safe too, all right, my man? And make sure you come across some knowledge, all right? You come across some knowledge that you think is going to help somebody. You make sure you get it into me, all right? And let me be the messenger, and I'll do it, all right? So many. I think I might be able to squeeze one more session out of the man cave before I leave, and then soon, hopefully, you guys will be seeing me in remote places in British Columbia, loading up and editing videos from my phone with that new GoPro that I bought. I think I can pull that off with that. Oh man, I'm ready to fall over. I'm ready to sit back and do nothing. See if there's something a little short I can throw in here. I don't even know how long I've been sitting here. I have a couple of interruptions. This one doesn't look like it's too long, so let's hammer this one out, and then I'm going to get going. Dive into that moose roast dinner. No subject, no title. My first part of the email was cut off. When I was 4 or 5, living in Havertown, PA, I was terrorized for months by this creature looking at my window, which is at least 11 feet off the ground. His eyes glowed yellow, and I would scream for my dad every night. It stopped. I used to think it was a vision of King Kong, but realized I was too young to have seen that movie. The rest is in the next email. Thanks for reading. Later in 2005, I was living in Las Vegas, fishing one day at Lake Mead. I'm still not convinced they exist in that desert, but I had an experience that scared the hell out of me. I felt as if something was watching me. I had a dream of something horrible happening to me. It was broad daylight and I left quickly. I also had seen 3 UFOs at the same time, which were train hovering in the dark silently. Triane, I think it's a typo. Still, I've never thought of these creatures. I know they exist, but I've had many questions because I'm a man of very deep religious conviction. I want to know why they are here and want to have a contact, as stupid as it seems. I want to speak with them and ask many questions myself. It's probably foolish because I have a very bad heart condition. Still, there are very real reasons. They are here. Why some are helpful and many causing fear. Yet, they can easily kill us all. It makes no sense, nor is the fact that when many start talking about God or Jesus, they are perfected. There is a connection, obviously. Protected, I think. Perfect is supposed to be protected. This world will end soon, and I want answers. Today on your channel, you asked a good question. Why, with all the places to live, they have to live near and terrorize us, yet never follow through? I do believe in many of the contributors' comments, such as we have, we do not use or forget. What? I do believe in many of the contributors' comments, such as we have we do not use or forget. I can prove some by reason. If when they mind speak we hear them, that proves we have that ability. They know we do. Isn't it weird to want to meet them? I've walked in the woods lately calling them to appear, but no success. As far as some of your other comments about our world, it's going to get worse. And I worry about you going out where you go to share emails. I never imagined that this was real, but there is no doubt now. Anyone who thinks it's a joke are kidding themselves. Anyway, I wanted to write you. You may share my name and give me a little advice because I do believe sooner or later I'm going to meet them again. I have many questions. I want answers. Don't we all, man? Don't we all? You know, oh boy, for me, I don't know. I've told a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I usually tell people that laugh or scoff at the topic, I tell them flat out. Especially where I was previously living, even right now, I know a couple spots not too far from here where I am very confident. If an experience is what you're after, then what you would need to do would possibly be to go bring a tent, sleeping bag, some snacks, and a lighter, no weapon, and go deep into the forested areas of a few places I know of, and just hang out. Just hang out and wait it out. They already know you're there before you even set up your camp. And then it's up to them whether or not they're going to be in contact with you, I'd imagine, or scare the shit out of you, or worse, somebody finds your tent. Nobody slept in it for days, who knows, right? I don't know. Would I do it? Nah, I used to think about doing it. I mean, I do it enough as it is, right? But I do not go where I know there is a very high chance of having an experience with one of these damn beings again. I always go where I have something, I have a goal, I've got something I'm doing. I'm going somewhere with purpose, and it doesn't include them, ever. The only thing that includes them is the thoughts in my head of, leave me alone, and that's about it. But if that's what you want, man, if that's what you want, it's not hard to figure out where a higher than average chance of having experience would be in North America. And then it's up to you, and it's up to them. So all you can do is put yourself out there, go camping, and bring some food, and hang out, and wait. And don't bang on trees and go whooping in the night. They'll just shake their head at you and laugh. But if that's what you want, that's what it's going to do. It's funny, you know, the very, very, very rare time I've ever watched any kind of a show or video where people have gone intentionally looking for these things, and it's probably about 99.999% of the time they drive into a spot or take a quad into a spot and everybody's within sight of the damn vehicle and they're all huddled up and putting night vision cameras on their faces looking like dumbasses, and then they think they hear shit, or sometimes they do hear shit, sometimes they see the other thing in the thermal. But not once has any one of those people gone out by themselves and laid down on the ground 8 or 10 miles away from any road in a tent with a sleeping bag and some food and sat there by himself. to have an experience, right? Nobody ever does that. Wonder why? Wonder why, right? Because they're too scared, that's why. They think they want to have that experience, but they don't really. That's why they go in groups, and that's why they put the camera on their faces, and that's why they use thermal cameras, and that's why they try to think they're going to outsmart these beings and get them on video, which some people do, get little glimpses of them, but in reality, if that's what you want, you better get on that backpack, put your shit in your back, bring no weapon, and go camping and hike at least 10 miles away from the road. And get out there and get deep into it and do it. Right? Or not. I strongly suggest not. Anyways, I'm babbling. I've got other thoughts in my brain. As soon as I start thinking about something else or I gotta be somewhere else, I lose my, I'm not as smooth. I have to sit down here with just me and you guys and talk and stay concentrated. Or not at all. Anyway, I gotta go in. This will be one of my last yummy meals before I hit the road. I'll be back.